All right, today we'll be going through probably the best Armored Titan slash Shiki build I have done. This build can also be used with Attack Titan, but is not recommended, but can be used for Attack Titan if you like using Attack Titan a little bit more than over Armored Titan. I'd say this is the most consistent build I've had with Attack Titan and Armored Titan with damage-wise, but I do find it to be far more effective with the Armored Titan. Now today, this build will be going across for more crit chance and crit damage, but its main feature will be through pure damage alone, and every other kind of stat doesn't really matter too much into this. But in this build, we are going to break down how I got to 100% crit chance with only going down the left damage path. Let's break down the build. So today, let's just start off with the perks, because the perk is going to be the easiest to understand to the degree of I want to break it down. We start off with wind rhapsody. So wind rhapsody isn't a perk that many people use, purely because it's weird. But because it's so weird, not many people understand how to use it. And when I was thinking of the build, I wanted consistency. And what's consistent at the moment? That's right. We go with Black Flash. Black Flash and crit is 2 and 2. So, with that, I tried going pure damage with high crit chance. Now, that's a build that can really cook. All right, so we got straight Art of War, Black Flash, and Wind Rhapsody for because they're the main 3 perks. This one, your support perk, you can go with a couple of things, but I really suggest Current Catalyst, purely because the time for you to be able to use this ability, because this is your biggest damaging ability, it's too long. If that ability was just a little bit shorter, I wouldn't use it. But due to that ability being so long, it's pretty important. And also due to this perk being able to affect yourself too, because if this perk didn't affect yourself, it'd be pretty much useless. But yes, for the immortal, I went with immortal just because you have to get your actual shifted bar straight up to the point of being able to shift. But due to me not using Founder's Blessing would allow you to do it at 8 or 9 kills without, if you didn't have a apotheosis or something like that. But yes, having immortal just gives you that early game, especially if you're using TS. I don't know how many countless times I've had TS just blow up in my face, and it's frustrating when that happens. So having immortal just makes it feel it's very much more consistent than other parts. Adaption will not work with this build due to Armored Titan having a special feature, which is courage. Courage is a very important part of this build, and it's the only reason this build is probably as consistent as it is. Now, right. So the memories are going to be very nitty-gritty when it comes to being able to deal just that bit more damage. So the important ones are going to have to be quickstrike, apotheosis, and overslash. All of those slightly increase your damage due to overslash just dealing a little bit more damage every 4 seconds to the Titan. See, you don't really need Gambler, but I find that this build is a bit too consistent with damage due to it dealing just about 318,000 per hit without Gambler. But with Gambler, you can see numbers up to about 400,000 to 500,000, which I find to be a lot more consistently damaged than I thought it'd be. But it's really up to you when it comes to if you want Gambler or not. You can obviously put other things like, actually I don't really have that much more, but yeah, that's the more important memories to think into. Okay, so we'll go into skills. See, people think when they're messing with crit builds, you have to go with, because I've got rhapsody, you have to go with the right path. Due to this being a consistent high damaging build, I went with the left path. That's really where the nitty gritty stuff comes into play, because high damaging then plays consistent with the low crit damage, so it just works really well together. I will also break down in a fair bit about how it can also be really good for the attack time and how I'm being able to get 3 minutes, just around 3 minutes with the attack time with this exact build. But that's a little bit. Okay, we'll go through the artifacts now. Artifacts have to be decently good. I spent like 20 million to get these stats, and I was like, all right, I don't really want to spend too much more because, yeah, it's a large amount just to be able to get good stats and things like this. But here's where the fun stuff comes into play. Due to the crit chance being so low, due to being on the left path, if I didn't have this crit chance, it wouldn't be as good, because that then increases it to just over 100% crit chance, which you see 1 or 2 hits. That's not perfect, because I think the maximum crit chance you can have is like 105 to 110 around there before it gets like you don't need that much more crit chance. But yeah, the other side, you just want to go pure shifted damage, and that's pretty much a somewhat deep dive into the build itself. But I'll go break down how the actual crit works. See, I recently found out crit chance doesn't work with Attack Titan or Armored Titan builds, purely because this number right here with TS, people being like, oh yeah, this is your base damage. Yes, it is your base damage. But it doesn't, like, how to explain it in a way it'll understand. It doesn't stack, and then it doesn't make a whole number. See, the damages is actually split into 2. See, then we have the straight damage, and then we have the shifted damage. See, if the shifted damage was to then combined into a whole number, crit damage would be skyrocketing. We would see shifter builds be better than TS right now if the damages were actually put together. But due to that damage not being put together and it's 2 separate numbers, that's why crit doesn't work with shifters. So you have to make a build like this, where it's pure damage but consistent crit chance, just to increase your pure damage just by a bit. That's the difference here.
Right, let's get started then. Alright, so the kind of modifiers we'll be using for this first fight, we were doing Attack Titan, Aberrant, we've got Nightmare, Injury Prone, Chronic Injuries, Fog, and Time Trial. These are probably the most optimal modifiers for the Attack Titan raid, but you can put on Audible if you want, but that does take a little bit longer, about 30 seconds I'd say, a bit longer with this exact build, but it should be easy enough. Let's do this. Started. So, we go straight past skip, we go use a black flare, try and figure out where all they're at, and then we just start shooting spears at them. Now, you can already see my crit chance being ridiculously high with this. And it really is just that beautiful, how high the crit chance is. Alright, now we got our transformation perfectly. I like to go straight into probably this attack without doing any kind of movement. While you're in this attack, we want to... Oh, well, I didn't last long enough. But you can really already see the fact that my timer for the unstoppable charge is already halfway down. And I'm already got it now, yeah. It's already ready. Also with Heavy Punch 2. Perfection. And we lost one. Where is he? There we go. So... with killing that, oh no, there's one more. Oh, here we go. See, this is the importance of destroying the buildings. If I didn't kill all those titans at the beginning, I could probably take out all the buildings. But since I didn't time it right, it didn't work. Alright, so we go straight into this attack. We just go huge damage, absolutely huge damage. Yeah, look at that. That's just about 23% of its health gone in a single attack. We don't want to use the Heavy Punch here. Heavy Punch does take a lot longer. With Gambler, you do not see that damage increase. We usually just see this kind of... yeah, it doesn't change much at all. Now we just got to keep using the armored thing so it doesn't run out. Because if you do leave it for too long without recharging it, it does run out pretty fast. I think it's like 7 seconds or something like that. Something ridiculously low. But we're ready to go to second form. We will go straight into the punch. So that's 700k. I'd gotten that punch up to about 1.1 million before. It really is just up to the gambler. If gambler's going to get lucky, gambler might not get lucky. Pretty much is up to the gambler at the end of the day. And if I had a couple, like a Titan at least come to me now, it would probably make this stage a little bit easier, but sadly a Titan didn't come over to me and get my recharge faster, but that's sad. But in Armored Titan raids, that will be pretty much nullified by the fact that Titans consistently come at you, so you can almost have unstoppable charge almost instantly all the time. Yep, that is 2 minutes 28. I could have certainly gotten a better time than that, especially in the beginning. If I didn't waste time in the beginning, I could have gotten down to easily 2 minutes 20. So this is the Shiki Armored Titan build. I really enjoy it. It's my favorite build right now. I'd say it's not as good as TS, but it's certainly reliable. And we always love to see reliable. Alright, have a good day. I wish everyone good luck.